Hello guys, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we are going to be going over the Corinth Prime and its alternate fire airburst mode. Now I want to give a little shout out to a viewer who put a comment in called Glamador, I think his name was. I actually did this video and it still wasn't even uploaded into HD. It was like it just freshly gone up. And I made a comment in the video. I was like, I would really like to make this viral heat, but I can't because the heat is trying to mix with the blast. And he was like, you can make viral heat. It doesn't mix with the blast. And I go to look at it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I can. I don't know what the hell I was looking at before. For some reason, I didn't think it's. I don't know what was going on. So I'm going to redo the video because I can make my viral heat Corinth Prime now. Before I had viral radiation, because I was under the assumption that the heat was not mixing or was mixing with the blast. So I had, instead of incendiary coat here, I had prime charge shell. It's not going to change the build too much, but I believe it will be slightly better. So prime charge shell, like if we look how we had it before. So this one right now with incendiary coat is going to be at 71,000. These are paper stats. And with prime charge shell, it's at 82. So prime charge shell does put it a little bit higher just because it's a prime mod. It's 165 instead of 90. So we're hoping that we get that extra 11,000 damage from the heat. I think they'll end up being about the same. I think heat procs are obviously better than radiation procs, but the extra damage you get from charge shell are going to kind of make them about the same. But I would rather have a viral heat build, so that's what we're going to be going for. Okay, so in this weapon series, I take a weapon, I build it out, and I test that weapon on its own merits, meaning I don't mix that weapon with any kind of external factors. So like Warframe abilities, pets putting statuses on the weapon, things like that. I just test the weapon by itself, and I let the viewers make their own intelligent decision, like, hey, I'm going to be using Wisp, Salt put fire rate on the build. Maybe I don't need that fire rate mod if I'm going to be using Wisp. Things like that. Or, hey, I'm going to use Nourish, Salt put viral on the build. Maybe I don't need viral. So, okay. So let's get into the Corinth Prime here. Now, the Corinth Prime alternate fire is going to shoot a shot that will travel its trajectory. I can't get my words out right now. It's going to shoot a shot, and then when you press the alternate fire again, that shot that's out will have an airburst effect underneath it. So that's what the alternate fire does. It's going to give you innate blast, and it also has very poor crit chance. So the crit chance on the alternate fire is 4%. So putting a crit mod on the Corinth Prime for the alternate fire build is not really recommended because even the 200% crit mod is only going to increase it 12%. And 12% on a slow firing weapon is not very good. Status chance is 80%. Even though this is a status heavy weapon, even increasing the status chance, because you could you could see that incendiary coat there and go, well, why don't we use a 60-60? And that's fine too. It's going to increase the status to over 110%, but it's going to further decrease your damage there, your flat damage. And because this is a slow firing weapon, like this build is typically going to produce like 1 or 2 viral procs per hit. With a 60-60, it's just going to go from 1 to 2 to like 2 to 3. So it's going to be about the same, just very minor differences there. So that's why we're going to be going for the bigger 90 mod here. And when we went with radiation, we went with the primed version. So, okay. So that's pretty much it for the alt fire, like the unique things about it here. Now the actual mods, we're going to be going for Galvanized Hell for multi-shot. Prime Chilling Get Grasp for cold. Cold is going to be mixing in with the toxic mod down here to make viral. So we're going to get viral here. Next one is going to be primed point blank for flat damage. Shotgun barrage for fire rate. Something about the Corinth alt fire is that there's like an internal cooldown for how fast you can click the alternate fire. And so if you don't have shotgun barrage on, it's actually, it won't let you click that alternate fire very quickly. And so by the time you go to hit it, it might be further out than where you actually wanted to have it detonate. And so shotgun barrage helps with that. It lets you click the alternate fire a lot quicker, and it lets you be a little bit more accurate to where you want your airburst rounds to go. Like we said before, toxic barrage is going to be mixing with cold to make viral. And then here we are able to go full heat, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be going blaze for flat damage and heat, and incendiary coat for heat. Now at the very end here, our viral weighting is still a little bit higher than our heat. It's unfortunate, but on a status type build, these primed element mods are very good. So primed element mods, or any element really, they act like flat damage. They work on everything. They'll work on a hybrid build and a crit build and everything, except for actually getting factored into the crit equations. So they don't actually get factored into the crit equations. And so on a critical focused build, they're pretty bad. Usually you just want the 60-60s. On a hybrid build, they're kind of, sometimes they beat out the 60-60s, sometimes the 60-60 beats out them. And on a status only build, like we're building here, they almost always will beat out the 60-60s because they just provide so much more flat damage. So that's why we're choosing the primed element here. It hurts a little bit that we're not using the prime charge shell, but I do think that viral heat will be better than viral radiation. Viral radiation will have more flat damage, but I think we'll get a little bit more because of the heat procs and the fact that heat has a little bit less enemies that we commonly face that are resistant to it. And then in this last slot, there are 2 trains of thought with the Corinth Prime. The first train of thought is that you accept that it is an AoE clearer and that it is very bad against Eximuses and Thraxes. And you're planning to use a secondary or a melee that will kill those Eximuses and Thraxes for you. So, and in that case, Vigilante Armaments is your best option. Vigilante Armaments is going to give you multi-shot, which is going to further increase your paper damage here. Paper damage doesn't always translate into actual gameplay damage, but it's going to further increase your paper damage by about 20,000. And this will be even better as an AoE type weapon. Now the other train of thought, and the one that I'm going to be using, because I don't use external factors and I don't build the weapon as though I'm going to be using external things, I want this weapon to do at least okay against Eximuses. And it's going to do okay, maybe a little bit less than okay, against Thraxes. And in that case, we're going to use Hunter Munitions. Now, Hunter Munitions acts pretty much like a dead mod on the AoE build. So like as we're shooting the actual AoE, it pretty much doesn't have any effect on it. The very small times that we even produce a yellow crit, it still is only a 30% chance that we get a slash from it. So as far as the airburst goes, Hunter Munitions is very bad, doesn't really do anything. But when we reach an Eximus or a Thrax, we're going to go into the primary fire. And that's where Hunter Munitions will take its effect. Even without crit mods, primary fire has 30% crit chance, which is good enough, especially since this is a shotgun that has 12.6% or 12.6 multi-shot. So we're still going to produce a lot of crits, a lot of slash procs because of those crits. They're not going to be the biggest slash procs in the world, but they're going to do better than the alternate fire does against Eximuses. And so if you wanted to make the alternate fire airburst build and for it to have an effect against all enemy types, Hunter Munitions is your option in that very last slot there. Now for a Exilus mod here, There's not very many good ones, and there's actually some that will hurt your build. So let's talk about the ones that will hurt your build first. And it's the ones that you would commonly use on a shotgun. So on a shotgun, you are commonly going to use, and we look at the primary fire here, galvanized acceleration. Because on a shotgun, shotguns have fall-off damage. Or fall-off. So they produce less damage the further out you're shooting. And so by having speed, projectile speed, you're increasing that. Well, on the alternate fire, you don't have fall off. Well, you have fall off, but a projectile speed does not affect the fall off on the alternate fire. And so now, why does this hinder you, projectile speed? The faster that initial shot goes out, the less you can control where you want it to actually explode. So you have this tracker that goes out, and then you have to click the alternate fire again, and it explodes. So if it goes really quick, you have it's harder to actually figure out where you need to alternate fire for where it's going to detonate. And because of that internal cooldown timer too, it's going to go out farther before you're actually able to click that button to alternate fire again. And that's why projectile speed will hurt this weapon. So you don't want to put a galvanized acceleration on, and you also don't want to put fatal acceleration on. So the other options, and I don't think they're great options, and that's why I have nothing here, is lock and load. This is mostly for the vigilante armament setup. So lock and load is going to reload a little bit of the Corinth while it's holstered. So because you're using the vigilante armament setup, and because you're planning to switch weapons to kill Xmas and whatnot with, this will sometimes have an effect on your weapon. Sometimes. And then the other one that is more hunter munition setup focused would be counterbalance. And this is when you go to actually kill those Xmas with the primary fire. If you intend to aim in to get those kills, counterbalance will help because this weapon does kick a lot. But if you don't intend to aim in to get those Xmas kills and you're just hip firing at them, then counterbalance isn't really needed either. Now, because this is the second video I'm doing today, something I did want to say was in the first video, one of the gameplays, I did run out of ammo once. And so in this slot, the other option could be shotgun ammo mutation. That might be more of the actual option to use, is either regular shotgun ammo mutation or prime shotgun ammo mutation. I don't think this needs it normally. I ran out of ammo because I was fighting a Thrax who just did not want to die. The guy had so many slash procs on him, so I had spent 3 full magazines shooting into this Thrax. I think that's why I ran out of ammo, not because the weapon itself is slow at killing enemies. But shotgun ammo mutation is an option because of that. Because I did notice myself running out of ammo that one time. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to be doing the build with hunter munitions. Again, I don't act as though I'm going to have an external factor, and so I'm just going to do this with hunter munitions. But without this video, though, I probably would run it with vigilante armaments and just accept the fact that this kind of sucks against Xmas. But yeah, we're going to be running this with hunter munitions, though. Now, in the arcane slot, we're going to have primary merciless, just because we're not going to be getting headshots. We're not going for headshot kills or anything like that. So primary merciless makes sense. Okay, I think that's pretty much all of the explanation there. Because I'm not mixing this with any kind of external things, I'm going to be doing this on a Big Dumb Inaros with no Archon shards. No mods on the Inaros that affect weapon damage. No arcanes that affect weapon damage. And a Sentinel with no Sentinel weapon and no mods on the Sentinel that increase weapon damage. That way we can just test the Corinth and go from there. I am interested to see how it does with the viral heat. I did this whole video with viral radiation before. And it was quite good, except against Thraxes. It was really bad against Thraxes. But I think viral heat might be either the same or slightly better. I guess we'll see. I think it's still going to be pretty bad against Thraxes, though. So let's do the Kuvus arrival first. Yeah, I might jump in the Discord after Hazel. Probably when I'm done with this, I will upload it. And then Pepper's going to be coming home pretty soon. So me and her might like eat some dinner, and then I'll probably jump on the Discord. Maybe get some gaming in. How are you doing today? So I'm going to shoot this alternate fire just so you see what the little pellets look like that shoot out initially. Now you see how they didn't explode? All right, again, they didn't explode. So that's what those like the initial shot looks like. Now if I alternate fire while they're in the air, they will explode. So that's what they look like. They'll explode on their own, but only after reaching 90 meters. And, oh, actually, I might be able to test it here. This might be 90 meters full. I have to open the door. No, maybe not. Maybe it's not a full 90 meters. It's close. It's almost 90 meters, I think. Okay, I'm going to cast my 4 to double my armor, and that'll be the last time I use a Warframe ability. All right, let's get these enemies out here, and we'll see what this looks like. Fell in the hole. So the fire procs themselves aren't going to do a lot of damage. They're not like slash procs where slash procs and fire procs, they take different things into account, like of how big they are. So they're not exactly like slash procs. You know, a single slash proc can like one tick an enemy if it's big enough. Fire proc can't really do that. But what it does do, it provides a little bit of armor strip. And because it's fire damage, enemies are less resistant. Or enemies can be resistant or less resistant to it. And in Grenier's case, they're less resistant to it, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that, actually. I could be wrong there. I don't have the damage chart in front of me here. I know that most enemies are not resistant to fire. Fire and cold are really good elements because not many enemies are resistant to them. Same thing with radiation, which is why we had radiation on the first build. But the actual effect of fire is a lot stronger than cold, and questionably stronger than radiation. All right, so again, we have these Eximuses here. So what we're going to do is we just go up to these Eximuses and we primary fire. And that's where Hunter Munitions takes over. So 3 shots, he's dead. So your alternate fire is for trash killing. And then when you have a Eximus in front of you, you go to primary fire. I thought that this weapon was interesting enough when I was doing the primary fire build for the Corinth. I thought that the airburst was interesting enough for me to make its own video about it. I was doing the primary fire build, and I was like, huh, this is, you know, the AoE was still doing an okay amount of damage on the primary fire build, even though a lot of it doesn't really get affected by the primary fire build, just because there's a lot of like crit chance, crit damage on the primary fire build, and you know, there's just really poor crit on the alternate fire here. Now, weirdly, this full status weapon is actually decent against the Acolyte. It's not great, but it's decent against the Acolyte. We'll see here when these are 2 Eximuses. Yeah, these are 2 Eximus. Let's get some Hunter munitions in that one guy. Let's get some Hunter munitions in this guy too. We got Torment up. I think that might be him down there. There he is. You can probably also do Corrosive Cold on the weapon. Corrosive Cold might also be very good. Now that I know it's not stopping those things from mixing. I don't know why I thought that before. I even put that on and I was looking at it. Maybe I woke up too early and was my eyes weren't working or something. But yeah, Corrosive Cold. Cold's a really good element by itself, kind of like Heat. It doesn't have the best actual proc effect, but there's very little in the game that's actually resistant to Cold. So, Viral Heat, Corrosive Cold, I think are your best options. Corrosive Cold would let you use both primed element mods. And Viral Heat, I think is just a better combo. But Corrosive Cold would let you use both element mods. And Viral Radiation also lets you use both element mods. So all 3 of those setups I think are very powerful. They're all probably about the same in terms of like damage output. I think this current one, Viral Heat, is just the best setup, though. Even though you don't get to use one of the primed element mods, I think it's just the best grouping of elements. All right, let's get some of these Eximuses down. So again, you're going to go into primary fire, get a few shots on them. Those slash procs should probably finish him off here. Yep. Yeah, I thought it would be better just to remake the video instead of putting like a thumbnail message or something. I don't want to give people the wrong information. Sometimes there's like stuff that's very close, and like that I don't care about. Like, you know, this build is with Viral Heat, but if someone was like, well, I think you know, Corrosive Cold is 1.2% better than this, like I wouldn't care about that. But I had given wrong information in my first video. I had said that you couldn't get Heat because of the innate blast, and I was wrong. So I did want to just redo the video on that. Must have been too early this morning. That's going to be my excuse. Sticking with it. Heavy gunners are another good one to go into primary fire with. Heavy gunners can be pretty tanky, especially the further you go on to Steel Path. Get this one life support here. Yeah, I think me and Pepper will have some dinner after this when she gets home. And then I'll probably, I think me and her are going to jump on. I think we're going to do some clan events today for some rewards. I don't know what I'm going to give as a reward. I don't know what I'm going to do as a clan event, honestly. We'll see. Angst is up somewhere. Where the hell is he? That could be him over there. This weekend, we plan to open a second clan because we're at the max right now of 1,000 people. So let me finish this Acolyte, and then we'll... Actually, let's see what kills we are right now. So we're at almost 600 kills. Let me finish this Acolyte, though, because I don't want to leave this without killing him. That is the Kuva Guardian. You are the Acolyte. He's getting very close to me, and it is hard to hit him with the airburst rounds when he's very close. Because, like I said, there's an internal cooldown that won't really let you click the button extremely quickly. All right, he's dead. Let us head to extraction. So that was almost 600 kills in 10 minutes. Now, after the Acolyte, that was after 10 minutes, so it was 635. So let us find extraction. I wonder if I can get a green icon. Probably not. That's too much to ask for. Let me go down this hallway. Maybe it's down here. Yep. Oh my goodness, I hate this part of the map. So an average amount of kills when I do this these tests are 400. 400 for average weapons. This hit 600, which is very good. That is well above average. But it hit 600 by being really good at trash killing and a little bit below average at Eximus killing. Now, when we get to Thraxes, you'll see this struggles even more against Thraxes. So next we're going to do that 10-minute Lua conjunction. Oh my goodness, he stole my weapon. Just gonna throw a few of these hunter munition shots in their faces. Missing every other shot, of course, as is tradition.
The Oregon Neural Sentry is attempting to purge you from this place. Stand by for life support.
Remember to shoot this above their head. If you shoot at them directly, it will not detonate. That's all that'll happen right there. Interestingly, it will produce impact procs if you shoot directly at them. It's not worth putting whatever that mod is called, hemorrhage, because of those impact procs. It's not worth it because you don't get the AoE out of it, but it is something. Now, it's kind of hard to rate how this one was versus the previous video that I took down of the viral radiation, because on Kuva Survival, it kicked me out of the map for some weird reason at 8 minutes. But in 8 minutes, I was at 400 kills. So I would assume I would be a lot higher than that. I just don't know if I would have gotten 200 kills higher than that in 2 minutes. And also, you know, every run's going to be a little bit different. Sometimes you get better spawn, so you can't. You need a larger sample size of just two runs to check. But I think all three of those setups would perform very similarly. The viral radiation and the corrosive cold let you use both primed element mods if you have them. But I think the viral heat just pairs better. Those are just it's a nice pairing, viral and heat. Yeah, we've set it about 1,000 members now in our clan for a while. We're growing extremely quick, and then we're at 1,000 members, and now we're just kind of sitting there, and it's like, well, what do we do now? I'll open a second clan. So I'm going to take over one of the clans, and Pepper's going to take over the second one. We'll get that one up to another 1,000, and then if that is done in a timely fashion, then we'll make a third clan. But the second clan, the way the clans work when you do like the research and stuff, is things are a lot cheaper the smaller the clan is. And so the second clan, even though we're going to make it this weekend, we're not really going to recruit for it for probably a few months, because we're going to have to get all the research done and all the decoration done. Because research and decoration go up in cost the higher rank your clan is. And there's two different kinds of clan rank. There's, I think one is actually called clan rank and one is called like tier. So like your clan rank can go up to 11, which is just based on like the different rooms and shit. That doesn't really matter. But the tier, so like Shadow Clan, Ghost Clan, Mountain Clan, Moon Clan, all that crap. So the first tier of clan only lets you have 10 people, but everything's super cheap. You can get your research done quickly. You can do decoration items for super cheap. But as soon as you start upgrading your tier, things start becoming a lot more expensive. Like the clan currently is a Moon Clan. And to buy like a chair to put in a room is like 30,000 nanospores. So, you're doing a 30-minute resource farm to put a chair somewhere. And so the second clan is going to have to stay, I think they either started a Ghost or a Shadow. I think a Ghost maybe. They're going to have to stay at a Ghost clan for probably a few months until all the research and all the decoration is done. All right, let's get this Acolyte killed so we can focus on the Thraxes when they come out. I hate Torment. He likes to go behind you. Here's the Thraxes. I don't know why I wasn't hitting Torment. I don't know if I was not detonating it where I should have. I feel like the alternate fire is doing a little bit more than it was on the other video because of the fire difference, maybe. I'm going to hit this right here. Where's the guy that's hurt? I think this is the one that's hurt. All right, come on, 100 munitions, start working. You're not the guy I want to shoot at. Where's the guy I want to shoot at? I did not mean to melee there. Really need this Thorax dead. Really need 100 munitions and heat procs to do something. He's invincible again. All right. And I failed right there at 5 minutes. So that was just an unfortunate series of events. I think the viral radiation setup made it to 10. It did fail at 10. It couldn't kill one of the Thraxes at 10 minutes. I feel like this setup probably would have done the same as the viral radiation. I just, there was just a series of events of me getting staggered, the dudes going immune when I was ready to, start dumping a magazine on them. So probably could have did a little bit better there myself, but it did fail there. And on the original video, it did fail at 10 minutes. So we're not expecting this weapon to make it past, make it too good with Thraxes, basically. It's pretty bad against Thraxes. Can't get my words out today. It's an off day. All right. Go over the build one more time here. Let me see, actually. Last mission results. So as far as stats go, we got 317 kills. That was less than the last one. We did stay a lot less, though. We did stay for only like 6-ish minutes. Doesn't say how long it was. Yeah, we only stayed for about like 6-ish, 7-ish minutes. So 317 kills. So let's go over the build again here. So Corinth Prime Airburst. There's a few different ways you can set this up. There is the viral heat way. Okay. Then there's the way that I originally had it, which was instead of incendiary coat, use prime charge shell. And with this one, you get a lot more flat damage than with the heat setup. But heat's usually a better element, but keep in mind you're not really proccing your statuses too much because it's a slow firing weapon. Yes, the status chance is high, but it's a slow firing weapon. And that may be why the radiation did a little bit better in my first original video. But yes, you could technically go heat here. So instead of the prime charge shell to make viral radiation, you use the 90 heat along with blaze to make viral heat. And then the other way to set it up would be, let me take those off. It would be corrosive cold. So you put prime charge shell there, you put toxic, barrage, there. Okay, and then you put cold in the other slots. Prime Chilling Grasp. It's not going to let me fit it there. But you would put Prime Chilling Grasp, and then you would probably put the 60-60 cold as well. Or the 90 cold. I would probably do the 60-60 because that's going to lower our, well, our status is still 80. Yeah, you can do Prime Chilling Grasp, or you could do the 60-60 cold, or the 90 cold. And that would be the corrosive cold setup. So cold's a pretty good element to have by itself. It's similar to heat, where there's not a lot of things in the game that are resistant to it, that you commonly face. There's some weird shit that's resistant to cold, but stuff that you commonly face, there's not a lot of things that are resistant to cold. Just like there's not a lot of things that are resistant to heat. Just like there's not a lot of things that are resistant to radiation. That's why there's three really good elements. So let's go back to our viral heat setup that we just did the video with. So viral, we're going to have our Chilling Grasp, Toxic Barrage, and then for heat, we're going to use Blaze and Incendiary Coat. Okay, so we're going to be going for Galvanized Hell for multi-shot, Prime Chilling Grasp to mix with the Toxic to make viral, Prime Point Blank for flat damage, Shotgun Barrage for fire rate. Fire rate is going to let you click your alternate fire quicker. That way you can choose to detonate your air burst a little bit closer to you if you want. Just be careful of the self-stagger. Toxic Barrage, of course, to mix with cold here to make viral. Blaze for flat damage and heat. Incendiary Coat for some more heat. And Hunter Munitions. Hunter Munitions helps to kill Eximuses. It's still not really great against Thraxes, though, unfortunately. So Hunter Munitions basically is the Eximus killer on this build. Now, there's two different ways that you can think about this. You can say, hey, I want a weapon that deals with everything. I know this weapon is going to do really good against trash, but I also want it to be able to kill Eximuses. And in that case, this is the build with Hunter Munitions. It's still not going to be a great Eximus killer, but it's still a great AoE killer, and it's okay, maybe a little bit less than okay at killing Eximuses. Now, the other way you can think is you can say, I accept that this weapon is garbage at Eximuses and Thraxes, and I'm going to just fully lean into it. I'm going to lean in to the fact that this weapon is garbage against Eximuses and Thraxes, and I'm going to take off Hunter Munitions, and I'm going to put something on that's going to make the AoE just even stronger. That's going to be Vigilante Armaments. So now this setup, you do have to use an external thing. You have to say, okay, this weapon's garbage at killing Eximus and Thraxes, so I am going to have to use a melee or a secondary that will kill those enemies easily for me. You know, this is going to just clear all the friggin' trash on the map, and then my melee or my secondary is going to kill those bigger things. Me, personally, I know I did the video with Hunter Munitions. I'm probably going to use this setup, though, with Vigilante Armaments. I just feel like it's better to lean into what the weapon is strong with than trying to make a a generalist like setup on a weapon that's really AoE focused. So like my thought is using Vigilante Armaments, but the Hunter Munitions setup is going to let you kill Eximuses. This setup you can technically kill Eximuses, but it's going to take a long time. So, and then as far as the mods, pick your poison. The cold, the viral, and the heat was pretty good, but the viral and the radiation actually kind of felt better the first time, and it performed better. But I also didn't really perform at my best during the Lua. So I probably could have been aiming better or prioritizing the Acolyte while I didn't have Thraxes up. Things like that. So viral heat's an option. Corrosive cold or viral radiation. Either of those three options would be good. They're probably all very similar. In the Exilis slot, we don't have anything. And it's because there's not really anything that goes well with it. On my very first playthrough, the one I took down, I did run out of ammo one time, And so maybe shotgun ammo mutation is worth it, or maybe it was just a fluke thing that I ran out of ammo. Other than that, there's really nothing great in the Exilus slot. You can keep it empty to save yourself some capacity. Just remember that there actually is things in the Exilus slot that may hurt you, and that's going to be projectile speed from galvanized acceleration or from fatal acceleration, like we talked about originally. Then in the arcane slot, we're going to be going for primary merciless for a 360% damage increase and plus 30% reload speed. And that's mostly because Deadhead doesn't really work on this alt fire build because it's an AoE build. We're not going for headshots, and that's why we go merciless. So that is pretty much it for the build. Again, shout out to Glamador for letting me know that I could mix things with that blast on it. I don't know what I was thinking or what I saw this morning where I was like, oh, it won't mix. My heat's not going on it. I don't see my heat showing up. So I appreciate that. If you like the video, give it a like. And that should be it. Have a good day, guys. Take it easy.